Atlantis versus Talokan. These are two powerful underwater nations. Which one would win if they were to collide in full-scale war? Well, that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Like, share, and subscribe. Also comment down below on any thoughts you'll have about this video. Now, let's start with the basic soldiers. Well, on both sides, these soldiers have been more or less implied to be superhuman, possessing superhuman strength, speed, durability, and reflexes. So there's not much I can really go off there. We just know that on both sides, the average soldiers or the average people are implied to be just superhuman. Now let's move on to their weapons. There's technological advancements on both sides, and I have to say, though Talokan is obviously kind of advanced, they still do use traditional weapons, and those water bombs are nothing in comparison to all the different technological advancements Atlantis has. Yes, I believe Atlantis to be leagues ahead of Talokan in terms of weapons and technological advancements, as most of their weapons can attack from range, allowing them to have far less casualties and a lot greater advantage in battle. They have far greater technology than anything Talokan has currently. Then moving on to the actual armies, who has a larger army. Well, Talokan's army is pretty large. I mean, we saw how large Wakanda's army was in Infinity War and in Avengers Endgame. And Wakanda is an actual country. They should have a few thousand soldiers at least. And even with that knowledge, Namor still believed his army to be far greater than that of Wakanda, given that he did know a lot about Wakanda and their military power. And he still believed his army to be much greater than theirs. So his army is probably quite insanely large. But based on what we've seen from Talokan, based on what we've seen from Atlantis, I have to give it to Atlantis. I mean, their army is insane, and they have a lot of different kingdoms underneath them who would fight for them, like the Brine and the Trench. All of these would fight alongside Aquaman, kinda, if he would need it. And that obviously gives him a far larger army than anything we have seen in the MCU currently. Then moving to leader versus leader. Well, I'll be honest, I made a video on Aquaman versus Namor, and in that video I stated that Namor does take the dub, and I still stand by that. Aquaman does not win against Namor. Unfortunate, but it is the truth. Now, ultimately, which nation would actually win if these two nations were to collide? Well, I believe the nation that would win would be Atlantis, obviously. Now, both sides of soldiers are implied to be superhuman, but Atlantis has far greater weapons and technology, allowing them a larger advantage as they can attack from range, decreasing their casualties and giving them a greater advantage in the battle as a whole. They also have a far larger army with a variety of different creatures, monstrous large creatures who could just take a chunk out of the Talokan army. Now, Aquaman might lose against Namor in a one-on-one battle, but perhaps if he had a couple soldiers on his side, a couple monsters, a couple creatures, and that could change the tide of that fight. And I mean, he could have Mira on his side, who could perhaps just dehydrate Namor in a way, just suck out all the water from him. I don't know. She could do something like that, maybe. But in general, Namor, though powerful, he can take out Aquaman in a large amount of the Atlantean army, but he's not going to take out the entirety of the Atlantean army, especially with their superior numbers and their superior technology. And the Talokan, based on what we've seen as an army, absolutely wiped out, and then Namor will ultimately follow behind them, being annihilated because of the larger army and superior technology. Now, I'm sure many people are going to have a lot of comments and thoughts about what I've just said. It's completely understandable. If y'all do have those comments and thoughts, you can leave them down below. I'd love to see them. This is MC Info with another MC Clash. I'm out.